Well, hello there, Board Game Maniacs. Thank you for joining for a What's in the Box episode. We've never done one of these in a while, but since we're on the Star Wars Legion theme month by Fantasy Flight Games, we are going to do a What's in the Box, and we are going to be opening the Wookiee Warriors Unit expansion. I didn't get Chewbacca yet, but maybe when the theme month does come out, I possibly would have Chewbacca because, you know, Wookiees, it's good to have Chewbacca with the Wookiees, obviously. And then you would want Han Solo, and then you'd want Princess Leia, and then you would want Luke Skywalker. It's a continuing chain, a cycle of everything. All lovely goodiness. Woohoo! But anyhow, let's rip this puppy open. And we're just going to see what's in it, and we're probably going to assemble it too. Why? Why not? That's what I say. But you're probably noticing too, as well, as we're not at my game table right now where I usually do the What's in the Box. And the reason why we're not, because I have a game already set up that Brady and I have been playing just to learn the game, and it would take more time to clear it off than to just go right here where my painting station is to do the unboxing. So that's why we're doing that. So let's just go and rip. I'm going to do something different. What? I'm using an X-Acto knife this time? I usually just rip the plastic open. But this time, we're changing it up a little bit. That's right, because we like to keep things fresh here at Board Game Maniacs. Oh, yeah. So let's rip this off. Rip. Done. Plastic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love the smell of plastic. Well, no, it's the new board game. But this is not a new board game. This is an expansion. So there's going to be no smelling here today. Opening this baby up. Pop it open. Oh, I can always see some goodiness inside. Whoop. Miniatures and cards. We're doing the cards before we look at the miniatures and before we assemble them. So let's just get these out. The bases, there's nothing else in there. We'll take the miniatures out, but I'm keeping them secret until we're going to open them. And you can see really cool artwork here. I'm trying to reduce the glare from the lights. And you get 4 Wookiees. It says 4 plastic miniatures, 1 unit card, 5 upgrade cards, 11 accessory tokens, and 1 rule sheet. This box contains unpainted miniatures that require assembly. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee. Han Solo said that, and you know why. If you've seen the Star Wars, you know why it's not good to upset a Wookiee, because you've seen, you know, like Chewbacca's, he can be a little problematic, I guess, if you upset him. And playing the chess and that, yeah, you don't want to do it because you'll rip your arms off. I'll read what it says in the box, too. Normally peaceful and proud, Wookiees have suffered greatly under Imperial rule. They have. Feeling they have no other options, many have joined the Rebel Alliance, progressing renowned tendencies and resolve. Possessing renowned tendencies and resolve. Wookiees are not a common sight on the battlefield, but their ferocity in combat is an image that their enemies never forget. This expansion for Star Wars Legion contains 4 finely sculpted Wookiee warrior miniatures, enough for 1 special force unit, along with new unit and upgrade cards to field in battle. Whoop. All right, so let's look at the cards and the tokens and everything now, shall we? Here's the instruction manual, assembly manual, whatever you want to call it. So Wookiee warrior leader, you can see he's got like the blades, maybe. I suppose anyhow, we got a crossbow, a bowcaster Wookiee, which is awesome. And 2 other Wookiee warriors. And it says, organize the parts for each miniature as shown above. Assemble the miniatures as indicated using super glue. Allow any glue used during assembly to dry. And it gives you the component list there. And on the back, you know, gives like the credits and everything, just like any other Fantasy Flight game. So cool. Let's just see what other things here. So let's rip this open. You love my music. I know you do. Okay. Look at the cards in that first. So your standard token, I'm just punching them out on camera. I got to do it anyhow, so might as well just do it while I'm doing the camera. There's our activation token. This reminds me a lot of like X-Wing and everything too as well. So yeah, we'll get rid of that. Recycle. So there is the tokens that you do get in the Wookie Warrior expansion. Just so everybody is aware of that. We don't need this proof of purchase. I see online about the proof of purchase. Why do they include that when you can't get points for it and what have you? But it's all right. So let's push that to the side. Let's take a gander at the cards here. All right. So Wookie Warriors. Woo. Let's actually zoom in a little bit onto that. See a really cool artwork going on here, and it does give a basic background about the Wookie Warriors. I'm going to leave that for you to read, but we'll flip it over and we'll look at the meat and potatoes of this card right here. So the unit cost is 75 points, and you can see all of the what you can equip with them. And the blade rolls 2 black dice, and the pistol's a black and white and it's got a range of 1 and 2. And it has some special things like Charge, Expert Climber, Indomitable, and Unhindered. So Charge. As you perform a move action, you may perform a free melee attack action, which is the same as all other charges. Expert Climber. While clambering, do not roll defense dice or suffer wounds. So that's because they're expert climbers. That's really good. You can get up on some terrain and everything. Hopefully I'm going to put these in with the battle and the Moon of Endor, and you know they're going to be able to just climb onto the terrain, no problems. During the rally step, roll red defense dice instead of white. Oh, that's really good. And Unhindered. You ignore the effect of difficult terrain because you are an expert climber, obviously. So you can see all the stats here for the Wookiees. Really cool. Now, let's just place that here, and we are going to look at the cards that you get into this expansion. This is the first unboxing in a long time. I'm feeling kind of rusty, to be honest. You know, that's okay. We'll snap back to it. So you got a Bowcaster Wookie. Wookie Warrior only. Add 1 Bowcaster Wookie Mini. So this is the upgrade, unit upgrade. Impact 1 while attacking a unit that has armor. Change up to 1 hit result to a crit. I think that's what it is. Again, I've never played this game yet. I'm still learning kind of like the symbols and everything, but we're building. That's why we're doing the theme month, because we're building up to the battles. And then Pierce 1 too as well, which is cool. That's the type of upgrade. It's a unit upgrade. Whoops. Here is another type of upgrade. And the artwork is cool. I'm not going to read all of this. You can just see the point cost for this. 35 point upgrade for this. So it goes from a 75 to an extra 35 if you want to add another Wookie. And this is the warrior only for the Bowcaster. So this is 3 plus 1. And that's how much points it would be. There's another upgrade. Hunter upgrade. Recon Intel upgrade, which I'll put on camera. And Fragmentation Grenade, so that there is another upgrade. So that is all the cards that you get into the upgrade. Sweet. Now, what we're going to do is, this will be like a really short unboxing video, or what's in the box episode. So we are going to just clear these off, and we are going to assemble the Wookiees. For assembling, this is the tools we need to get the job done. Now, these clippers right here, you may not need them. Usually you don't for any of the Star Wars Legion stuff, unless it's like a building or a big vehicle, because I did one of the speeders. I can't remember exactly what speeder it was, but I had to do a little bit of clipping, so I have these just in case. I got this fancy tool right here, and this tool is for scraping the seams. You can also use like an X-Acto knife or what have you. And I have my super glue, or not super glue, this is plastic glue. It's from Citadel. Now, I've used this a lot. You can use any kind of, you could use super glue, you could use plastic glue. It is totally up to you, but this is just what I like to use. And this little handy dandy thing right here, it's a metal wire that you stick into the tube, the super glue tube, or the plastic glue if there's a clog, and you just punch it, poke it through, and you can clean it out and free up the clog so you can go and do your gluing. All right. So what I'm going to do now then is I'm just going to do something very simple, and that is I'm going to take the miniatures out of their bags because they're all separately packaged, which is really cool. And the bases, and it does recommend this into the instructions as well, is put them in space. So like this would be like Wookie number 1, Wookie number 2. So you get them all out of the bags and you get them in piles of all the miniatures, and you just assemble. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back and we'll start the assembly. Let's start off with none other than the Wookie Warrior Leader. So you can say I have all the parts assembled. The base, it's only 2 pieces, very easy. And that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to examine the miniatures first, and I got my scraper tool here in case we need to clean any of the seam lines up. So let's just take a little peek at this here, see if there's, yeah, you can see a little bit of a seam right here. Camera's not focusing in, but okay, maybe if I get up a little bit closer here. So I'm picking it off and not picking the detail off. There we go. Just clean it up. And again, sometimes you have to use an X-Acto knife just to assist in picking a little bit of pieces off of it. You just got to be careful that you're not removing the detail onto it. Because sometimes when I'm doing the seaming, I end up picking off some of the detail, and I'm like, oh, it makes me so angry. But that is it for the arm. I can't see anything else that is jumping out saying like, hey, you need to clean that off. So let's put the arm down and let's take a look at the Wookie Warrior Leader himself and see if there's any like major seam lines. They're clean. Like for the most part, all of the Fantasy Flight Star Wars Legion minis are nice and clean. You have to maybe a little bit here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty good. So there we go. That is it for the seaming. I don't have to do anything else. So now we are going to assemble the miniature. Now what I like to do is I like to do a dry fit first, just to make sure that everything is in where it's supposed to go. Like that is where that goes. You can see right here on camera actually, there's a little tiny piece. It's right there. So I know that's perfect. All right, so I'm going to take my glue, going to flip them over. Just a little bit of the glue here into the armhole. Don't need a whole lot. Again, this is plastic glue. You can use super glue. You can use pretty much any glue you want, but this is just my choice, what I like. And then we're just going to assemble them now. Just push it in place, just like that. Pretty easy, pretty simple, yeah, but I can still notice there's that little fleck here. Fleck of plastic. I think I got that, that's good. Just being overly analytical now, but hey. Don't judge me, you do the same thing. Uh-oh. There we go. So now, the base. Going to stand him up on the base here, see roughly where the glue for the feet. Whoop! He fell down. He had too much Wookie drink. I don't know what it is that the Wookiees drink, but they'll drink anything. They're Wookiees. They don't care. So again, just super glue. Not super glue, the plastic glue. And then place him onto his stand. He's got a pretty wide stance. Because he's a Wookiee, that's why. Yeah, just hold him in place like this for a minute or two. Then I'll leave him set. and then we'll go to the next Wookie. Now, what I like to do too as well is just to add a little bit more of a bonus is after this sits a bit, I'll take a little bit of super glue and I'll go around the edging of the feet because I'm gonna be sanding the bases just like the other miniatures for the Star Wars Legion, just to match everything. And that way it just gives a little more stability. So it's got the plastic glue, which ends up melting the plastic. And then I have the super glue, which will just bond the plastic. So let's go on to the next Wookie, shall we? Before we go on to the next Wookie, I just want to show you about the super glue. Now, I'm using right now Army Painter super glue. You can use any kind of super glue. And I just put it around the base here. You can see the puddle of it on both of his feet. And that just helps bond it a bit. And I just leave that dry, and then along with the priming and everything else. But let's go on to the next Wookie. Let's do the bow Wookie, the crossbow one. Yeah? Yeah, let's do that. We have all the parts laid out what we need, so let's take a look at this, see if there's any kind of cleanup we need to do for the seams. I don't really see anything big going on here. That's like, no, that's okay. You can see a little bit onto the bow. Let's clean it up and let's use the seam stripper slightly. So I'm just gently rubbing onto it. You can see it's picking up the flakes just to get rid of the seam line. Same with this, there's a little bit there. I think that's it. I think we're pretty good. All right, so that one's good. Let's check the other arm. See? So this, you can see, connects into there. That's how the Wookiee holds that one. And then obviously the arms go in the leg holes. Yeah, the leg holes. I said it. He's going to walk with his shoulders and he's going to fire from the hip. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's good to go. I don't see anything else that I have to do with him. So let's do the gluing now. So everybody has their own way of assembling. What I like to do is I'll take the weapon first and I'll put the glue on where the weapon goes, and also I'll put in the connecting part for the hands. Again, this is for like bolt action and anything else, but I don't assemble this until it's actually put into the miniature. There's an advantage for using the plastic glue as opposed to the super glue for this, because what it is when you're using with super glue, it sets pretty quick. You don't have a lot of movement time around. But with the plastic glue, it sets a little slower, so you got a little bit of play to be able to shift it around in that. And that's why I kind of like plastic glue. But there's some resin and everything that you have that you cannot do that. You can't use plastic glue on. You have to use super glue. So just be aware of that. It's good to read what they're made out of and what they recommend and everything on their website and what have you before you even start. So let's assemble this Wookiee's arm. And what's really cool about this with Fantasy Flight Mate, it's so simple to assemble, and it just, there's only one way that they can actually fit in. There's no like way that you can get them wrong. Well, I'm off camera there. So I just slid the slot onto the Wookiee's arm, and then I'm pushing the Wookiee's arm in place. So that's the crossbow Wookiee. Oh, he looks pretty cool. I like him. Should have made him the leader, but you know, either way, I'm happy with it. So I always test fit everything, like I said, before I do it, because I don't want to end up going to put something on like, oh, that don't work. Why? Like, where does it go or everything? So again, I'm test fitting him on the base too as well. Let's move this down a bit. It always seems to be shifting a bit. He can't stay balanced. So yeah. So let's, now another thing I like to do, I didn't do it for the last one, but just as an example, what I like to do is, you know, I'll just put a little dab of plastic glue on their feet, and I'll touch it to the base, just momentarily. I'll remove it, and then there's marks here, and then I'll take my scraper, and I'll scrape roughly around the area that I'm going to be putting the miniature down. And the reason why is because I'm roughing up the surface so that when I do put the plastic glue on it and I glue it down, it's just, there's more of like an uneven surface, so it's going to attach itself and bond itself a little better, if that makes sense. So after that, again, I'm just gonna take my scraper and I'm gonna scrape the bottom of the feet too. I didn't do this for the other one. I totally forgot. But I recommend doing this to every one of your miniatures when you're doing it, because it just helps it. And you can always pin them too as well. Pinning, drill holes, put like a paper clip up underneath it and glue it down. And that will ensure the hold on to it, the bond. So yeah, a little bit of fleck right there from where I scraped. There we go. All right. So continuing on, now I'm going to put more plastic glue. Super glue. I keep calling it super glue, but it's plastic glue. Just like so. And you see where I scraped it at, so I want to try to put my feet in that spot. Hold it down for a moment or two, and then we're going to throw some more super glue down onto the edge of it, just so that it's going to ensure more of a contact, while it gives the plastic glue time to melt the plastic together. So like that. Give it time for a minute, then I'm just going to apply the super glue on top of that, and then that'll be it. We'll be back with the next Wookie. On to the Wookie that got the blades on the arms. That's a really cool thing. Imagine a Wookie as big as they are running up to you and just swiping you with the blades like on their arms, but they got handles, they're holding them and they're swiping them, but it's cool. They're like tumfas almost, if you know what a tumfa is. If not, look it up. Or it's not more like a camo, but anyhow. So I looked at the seams already, and there's no real major seaming that I have to worry about. Maybe a little tiny bit right there. I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife for this, just because of the location that it is. Just a little tiny bit. Not too bad. All right, I'm okay with that. And before we do that, I almost broke my rule. Test fit so you know where they go. This guy's going to go up like that. And he's going to go down. He's going to... See, I'm glad I did a test fit. Imagine if his arm was like that. That's my Wookiee impersonation. Yeah, I know. Don't do it. So this one here, it seems I'm having a little bit of problems with it. See, that's why we do test fit. I just didn't have it on the right angle. So there, that's why he's going to look. So I know this is the way to go. So away with the plastic glue. See, got it right this time. Plastic glue. Just a little bit. I just got to wait till the plastic glue actually starts coming out of my tube here. Maybe I should probably wipe the tip off a little bit. Just because when it sits out for a while, it just, that's what happens to it. That it'll start coagulating. I don't know if you'd call it coagulating, but solidifying or, you know, setting or gelling or something like that. So there we go. Grab the right one, and so you don't put them on backwards. I've done that before. Not arms, but just assembling miniatures. I kind of put things on the wrong way. Like one of the B1 battle droids, I kind of put the body on backwards. I wasn't paying attention. Gave more of a dynamic pose for sure, but it definitely was wrong. And yeah, so you just got to be aware of that. So let's put this one in now again. Got to get it at the right angle, just like that. Such a snug fit. These miniatures are so easy to put together. You see there's a little space here, you can green stuff that. Or, you know, use a little bit of super glue, which I'm going to do. Sometimes that helps fill in the gaps too as well. I've seen that done before. I've done it in the past. Slightly, but, you know, just not a whole lot. that's a little too much. I'm just grabbing a Q-tip and just wiping it down. So it's filling the gap kind of, but I don't want it to be like bubbling over like that, because that just would be wrong. Okay, so now again we're going to test fit to make sure that it's on the base properly where I want it. So that's pretty good. So you can see his feet are bent, so he's on his tippy toes here, so we're going to scrape his tippy toes off a bit and scrape his other foot just to prepare the surface for the glue. A little bit of a dab. Just like that. Put it where I want it. There we go. Prepare the base surface. Now, if you aren't going to base them out, like put sand on the bases or what have you, then you don't have to scrape up your base like this. I just do this because I like doing something to the bases besides just having them paint it. Because I just, yeah, I think my own opinion is I need to base them out. If I'm going to paint them, I'm going to go all the way and paint them, base them, everything. So there's some of the plastic glue on. I found my scrape mark, so I kind of spun that around a bit. Put him down in spot. Hold him. All right. And it's going to fill him with the super glue, and I'll be back for the last Wookie. Last but not least, this final Wookie. Now, I checked onto it. There was no real seams that I had to scrape off, so it's really good. But we are going to scrape the feet off right now. Just to kind of get ahead of herself a little bit there. Just like that. And might as well do the feet thing too. Actually, no, we'll wait for the feet thing. So anyhow, let's dry fit. Make sure we have everything in place. So he's going like that. And this guy. He's going in. So he's going... Oh, he's like ready for the action. Great. Okay, so let's glue that down with our plastic glue. Maybe. I might have plastic glue. I got a lot more plastic glue, but we'll see. Is this going to work? Oh, there it is. It's coming now. I must be getting low on the plastic glue. Fine. Keep gluing plastic glue. Keep using plastic glue. Buy more glue. I'm mumbling. So both sides, like so. Let's put this baby together, or this Wookie together, I should say. Details on these are outstanding. Like, oh, Fantasy Flight, great job on the details. Just squeeze them, give them a little bit of a tiny squeeze. There we go. So now we have to find out where we need to scrape. So just put some little dab of glue there. Putting it on the base, just to kind of get the idea of where we have to scrape. Rough up the surface. There we go. And add the plastic glue in more amounts, more of an amount. Boom, boom, boom. put him down like so, hold him in place for a moment or two. And then we'll be back for our closing to show you all of the 4 Wookiees together. And there you have it, Board Game Maniacs. All of the 4 Wookiees are done into the Wookiee Warriors unit expansion for Star Wars Legion by Fantasy Flight Games. That's how simple it is to put miniatures like this together. I don't think I've come across any miniature in this line so far that has given me a little bit of difficulty at all. Like, no difficulty, zero difficulty. It's just, there was one that was on sprue. It was one of the speeders. Like I said, I can't recall. It was from the newer core box with the B1 battle droids and the clones and so on. So I know this is an aerial view and you can't really see them so much, but what I'm going to do is, Brady's working on to some of his clone troopers here. So I'm going to grab one, and just for a size comparison so we can see how big these Wookiee warriors are, as opposed to like clone troopers. So if he's kind of down the same base, like look at the height difference. This is crazy. Like, I wouldn't want a Wookiee charging at you at all. I'd probably just lay down and, you know, kiss my butt goodbye, because that would be the end of me. Them Wookiees would have me destroyed. So I'm reaching across camera, just put that back, and that's it. Like, it's so simple for the assembly guide. So we may have another unboxing assembly guide or more for this month for Star Wars Legion. Who knows? And there are going to be some painting, and obviously there are going to be battle reports. And also too as well, I don't know if these are going to be out before or after showing about the terrain builds, because again, I've never played this game yet and I'm already addicted to it just because of the quality of the minis. I watch videos and how it's played, and it looks very simple to get into, and it looks like it's a hell of a lot of fun. So I can't wait for that. And if you haven't already, don't forget, click on the subscribe and bell notification to be notified when other videos such as this become available for viewing. It's going to be well worthwhile, because Star Wars Legion, like, come on, who don't want to watch Star Wars Legion battle reports? But in either case, have some fun, put some miniatures together, paint them, and play some games. But most importantly of all, and that is, be a maniac. I'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger. Because of you, the viewers, I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.